There's nothing better than a sunbathing pig on a gorgeous day, is there? No, there's not. All right, what else? I promised you a look at how Fanta exploded. Look at that. So she still has cashmere hanging off of her, but if you remember, like the last video we had her in, she had it all over her body. It was kind of coming down from her back, and only her back was clear. So she has already cleaned off most of her sides. Absolutely fabulous. She's going to go up on the grooming stand this weekend, so we'll get the rest of it off for her. But that's how cashmere should shed out. Natural and by itself. What are you doing, Ladybug? That might be her name, by the way. Lady just wasn't working, but Ladybug is awful cute, isn't it? Oh, must be lunchtime. Sock Monkey, you are so patient. Look at those boys just absolutely beating on her. They pick her straight up off the ground. She's such a patient mama. Your time, girlfriend, is almost done. These two boys go home in a few days, and you will be free. So hey guys, if you're new here, I'm Pam. This is Racing for Home Farm, where the animals rule the schedule, and I try and keep up, but it doesn't work very well. Nothing here is planned, nothing here is scheduled or scripted. You sort of get what you get, but the animals are cute, so they make up for it. Oh, are you here for your shot close-up? Look at you. This guy is such a camera hog. He is so funny. Every time I sit here with the camera, he has to be in it and get a close-up. Of course, my little Ladybug here. It's my little shadow. She's my baby girl. She's getting a little bit picked on right now by the babies. I'm not sure why. Everything was fine up until about yesterday afternoon, and then suddenly the dynamic shifted in the herd. They'll shift again, so I'm not worried about it. But she got a little beat up. She's not really beat up. Pushed around is probably the better term. They don't hurt each other, and they certainly don't make boo-boos. Isn't that right, guys? But y'all were picking on her a little bit, weren't you, Madam Wren? Yeah, I know. And you're following the camera. Here's Voodoo, looking good. So, oh my goodness, the turkey are just having a blast, cackling it up. That's a guinea. The guinea is also alarming for some reason or another. And since I'm sitting out here, I know she's not alarming for any reason other than she can. Hi, boys. There's my little snuggle bugs. Huh? That's my little snuggle bugs. So, let's see. What do we got going on that I haven't already told you? Not a whole lot, because I've already told you just about everything. There isn't a whole lot more to tell, unfortunately. So, Lady just got her afternoon bottle. We have started her slow weaning process. And what I've decided to do to try and help things a little bit. Of course, the first thing is it'll help that some of the babies and some of the mamas will be out of this area. So a couple of the babies, well, we got 5 babies going home this weekend. And 2 of the mamas will be moving back in with Fanta and Emma and the big girls, because they won't have any babies left here. JC will stick around a little bit because only one of her babies is going home this weekend, or at least so far. Anything could change. It's still a few days away. So that will leave... Actually, Sock Monkey will be moving over. I think that's what I said. Sock Monkey's going to be moving over. Persephone's going to be moving over. So that'll leave JC, Ren, and Misty here in the baby pen with the remainder of the babies. And then it's only about 2 weeks before the rest of them go home. But that reduction in numbers here in this stall will change the dynamic significantly. And it will change how little Miss Ladybug here sees food. She is eating hay already. She has no problem with that. I think I've showed you that before. But she's not as interested in the grain. And so having a few less kids in the grain swarm will certainly help. Those kids are just hanging on to you, huh, girlfriend? Don't worry. A few more days and both boys will be gone and you will be free from them beating you up. They're almost as big as her. And I say that facetiously. They're clearly not. But they're pretty big. They're ready to go home, and they are still nursing because Persephone lets them, and therefore she's just getting full uplifted off the ground. Ren's kids are harassing her unmercifully to nurse, and she's not letting them, which is also kind of funny. This is all part of the weaning process. The moms will let them nurse when they need it, but if they're nursing for comfort or they're nursing just because they can, a lot of times what you'll see is mom walking away from them and saying, nope, best of luck to you. Go find something else. Here's your other boy. Hi, buddy. My other snuggle bug. And there's my little babies. Everybody's coming out to see me all of a sudden. I love it. So anyway, weaning. So I've started to reduce Madam Ladybug's bottles just by an ounce. I know I said I was going to do 2 ounces, but I decided to start with an ounce, at least for this week. So we reduced by 1 ounce in the morning and 1 ounce in the afternoon. So that's the total of 2 ounces. I just spread it across 2 bottles. And what I've also done is started to pull her afternoon bottle forward about an hour. She's certainly fine to eat at that point. She doesn't miss a meal, that's for sure. But that will start to help bridge the gap between breakfast and dinner when we start to really reduce her breakfast bottle. So reduced by an ounce, shifted her afternoon up an hour, which spreads the time between afternoon and evening. But her evening bottle is still a full bottle, plus she gets hay and everything else. So she got plenty of food at that point. So once the babies go home this weekend, we'll drop that morning bottle another ounce and then really start dropping it sort of an ounce a day, not an ounce a day, an ounce every 2 to 3 days, maybe 4 days. Until it's gone, right? And if you think about it, right, she started at 8 ounces, we're down to 7 now. So dropping 7 ounces across, like, say, every 3 days is still 21 days of morning bottle, right? Is that correct? It's 7 ounces every 3 days? Yeah, 21 days. I can do math, yay. So it's not a fast process. And depending on how she reacts, we may accelerate that a little bit. If we see that she's really starting to enjoy eating and now that there's less of a crowd, she's, engaged in it, we could drop it a little faster, but that would be kind of worst case scenario. And that would mean she's still getting, 7 ounces in the afternoon. She's still getting 8 ounces at night. So she's getting plenty of nutrition. Plus, like I said, she's eating hay with no problem. Somebody is chewing on the back of my shirt. Who is it? It's you, the camera hog. So I think that's the game plan for now, and we'll see how she does. Things can change, of course, as we progress, but that is the plan. We've weaned plenty of babies over the years, and we do it pretty well, pretty scientifically, just to make sure that, again, they're not stressed in any way, shape, or form. And also to make sure that they transition to solid food. Their digestive system has time to get used to being, processing that as their main source of nutrition as opposed to, sort of a supplement. So it's just a really subtle shift. And so figure 3 weeks minimum. 3 weeks maximum. I'm going to say 3 weeks maximum. She'll be down to 2 bottles a day. And at that point, she's going to be about 9 weeks old. And we'll probably, again, at that point, start to dial back both bottles, afternoon and evening, simultaneously. And that goes a little bit faster because once you get rid of the first third, right, that first bottle, they really start to understand they need to rely on food much more. And by doing it at breakfast time, she will have full access to a ton of hay and grain and keep her belly full. And that will make it much easier to eliminate the afternoon bottle because her belly will still be full from morning. And it'll also make it much easier. Yeah, you guys are all checking out my boots as always. Much easier in the evening to reduce that bottle because she'll have her evening portions of hay and grain. So, at that point it goes much faster. It'll probably only be another week and a half before she's completely off bottle. So that is the game plan for those that are interested in how we do our weaning. It is a very slow weaning process on purpose, but it's also, we don't drag it out, right? Like, I mean, she would bottle feed as long as we let her. And we don't drag it out for weeks and weeks on end. We just make sure that she knows how to get nutrition, that her body condition stays appropriate. And see, she's getting pushed around a little bit. And the funny part is he's one of the gentler ones. So why are you all of a sudden pushing people around? So I mentioned herd dynamic. Something shifted. Who knows what it is? I mean, it could just be that the weather changed and now everybody's feeling their royal oats. It also could be that these boys are right on the cusp of being ready to be castrated, and so they're starting to be boys, and boys will be boys type of thing. But once we do castrations, the whole dynamic shifts again. So we'll keep you posted on that, and I would say that none of this is any worry. This is pretty standard baby pasture, herd dynamics. They're all testing the waters, figuring out where they belong, who they are, etc. So that is what's going on here. I hope everybody is having a fantastic day. I don't know if you've caught it, but it is absolutely magnificent here. It's that type of spring weather where it was chilly this morning and not so chilly this afternoon. The sun is shining. There's a very slight breeze, but it's not windy. And as you can tell, everybody is sunbathing and taking advantage of it. The donkeys are so far out in the pasture, you can hardly see them. They're way down at the end. Whoosh, whoosh. They're down there, but they are all the way back there. Every bird is out. Everybody is out and enjoying life as we know it here. So I hope you're doing the same. And until next time, there's work to be done. Bye for now.